The desperate signal. The silence of deep space was broken by the urgent beeping of the communication array aboard the Earth Defense Coalition vessel Horizon's Edge. Commander Thane Korvik, a weathered man in his 50s with graying temples and sharp blue eyes, looked up from his morning coffee as the sound echoed through the bridge. "Commander, we're receiving a priority distress signal," called out Lieutenant Sarah Mills from the communications station. Her young face was tense with concern as she adjusted her headset. "It's coming from approximately 47 light-years away, near the outer rim of the Helix Nebula." Korvik set down his cup and walked over to the central command console. The bridge of the Horizon's Edge was a marvel of human engineering, filled with holographic displays and advanced sensor equipment. Soft blue lights illuminated the workspace, where his crew of 32 specialists worked tirelessly to explore the unknown regions of space. "Let's hear it," Korvik said, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had spent 20 years protecting humanity's interests among the stars. The speakers crackled to life, and an alien voice filled the bridge. The words were translated by the ship's advanced linguistic processors, but the desperation in the speaker's tone needed no translation. "This is Admiral Zixara of the Velkari Republic. We are broadcasting this message to any spacefaring civilization within range. Our homeworld is dying. A terrible plague has swept across our planet, killing millions of our people. We have exhausted our medical resources and technology. We desperately need help from any species with advanced biological sciences. Please, if you can hear this message, we beg for your assistance. Our civilization faces extinction." The bridge fell silent as the message repeated. Captain Elena Rodriguez, Korvik's tactical officer, moved closer to the command console. She was a small woman with dark hair and intense brown eyes, known throughout the fleet for her strategic brilliance and unwavering loyalty to her crew. "Commander, what do you think?" Rodriguez asked quietly. "Could be legitimate, or it could be a trap." Dr. Maya Chun, the ship's xenobiologist, looked up from her research station. She was a tall, elegant woman with long black hair tied back in a practical ponytail. Her expertise in alien life forms had saved human lives on more than one occasion. "The signal appears genuine from a technical standpoint," Dr. Chun said, studying her instruments. "The energy patterns match those of a civilization in genuine distress. The biological markers in their transmissions suggest they're carbon-based life forms, similar to humans in basic physiology." Korvik nodded thoughtfully. The Earth Defense Coalition had strict protocols about responding to alien distress calls, but humanity's core values emphasized helping those in need whenever possible. It was one of the principles that had allowed humans to forge peaceful relationships with dozens of alien species across the galaxy. "How far out are we talking, Lieutenant?" "Mills?" Korvik asked. "At maximum hyperspace velocity, approximately 18 hours, Commander," Mills responded. "We'd need to make 3 jump calculations to reach their system safely." "What about our current mission?" Rodriguez inquired. They had been assigned to survey a series of uninhabited star systems for potential human colonization. "The survey can wait," Korvik decided. "If there's a chance we can save lives, we have an obligation to try. That's what separates us from the predators out there." He activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands, this is the commander. We've received a distress signal from an alien civilization facing extinction from a plague. We're altering course to provide humanitarian assistance. All departments begin preparations for first contact protocols and medical emergency procedures." The crew responded with efficiency born from years of training. Dr. Chun began analyzing the limited biological data contained in the distress signal. Rodriguez started plotting defensive strategies in case the situation proved hostile. The engineering team prepared the ship's medical bay and scientific equipment for unknown alien physiology. As the Horizon's Edge made its first hyperspace jump toward Valkyrie space, Korvik found himself reviewing everything humanity had learned about dealing with alien civilizations. First contact was always dangerous, but helping a dying species seemed like the right thing to do. "Commander," Dr. Chun called out several hours into their journey, "I've been analyzing the biological markers in their transmission. Something doesn't quite add up." Korvik joined her at the science station. The holographic display showed complex molecular structures and genetic patterns. "What are you seeing, Doctor?" "According to their data, this plague affects the respiratory and circulatory systems simultaneously," Dr. Chon explained. "But the progression rate they describe doesn't match natural disease patterns. It's too systematic, too organized." "Meaning?" "It's either an engineered bioweapon, or they're not telling us the complete truth about what's happening on their world." Rodriguez overheard the conversation. "Could be they're embarrassed about the source of the plague. Maybe it was an accident in one of their laboratories." "Possible," Dr. Chon agreed. "But there's another anomaly. The signal contains trace elements that suggest industrial-level energy weapons have been used recently in their system. Not the kind of weapons you'd use against a disease." Korvik felt a chill run down his spine. His instincts, honed by years of command, were telling him something was wrong. But they were too far committed to turn back now, and if there was even a chance that innocent lives could be saved, he had to continue. "Keep monitoring their transmissions," he ordered. "And Dr. Chun, I want a complete analysis of everything. They've told us before we arrive in their system." The next 12 hours passed quickly as the crew prepared for what they hoped would be a successful first contact and humanitarian mission. The Horizon's Edge was well equipped for such encounters, carrying advanced medical equipment, food synthesizers, and communication technology that could help establish peaceful relations with new species. As they prepared for their final jump into Valkyrie space, Lieutenant Mills received another transmission. "Commander, the Valkyrie are sending updated coordinates and requesting that we approach their primary orbital station rather than their planet's surface. Admiral Zixara says it's safer due to the plague's atmospheric contamination." "Understood," Korvik replied. "Rodriguez, what's our tactical status?" "Shields and weapon systems are on standby, but not active," she reported. "If this is legitimate, we don't want to appear threatening. If it's not, we can be combat ready in 30 seconds. "Dr. Chun, any new insights?" The xenobiologist looked troubled. "Commander, I've run the data through every biological model in our database. This plague, as they describe it, shouldn't be able to survive in the vacuum of space. Yet they're claiming their orbital facilities are contaminated. It doesn't make sense." As the Horizon's Edge dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Valkyrie system, the crew got their first look at an alien solar system in crisis. The primary star was a yellow dwarf, similar to Earth's sun. 3 planets orbited within the habitable zone, with the second planet showing the signs of an advanced civilization. "Sensor sweep complete," reported Ensign Jackson from the navigation station. "The second planet shows massive urban centers, but there's something strange about the energy readings." "What kind of strange?" Korvik asked. "The energy signatures suggest large-scale weapons fire, but it's concentrated in specific regions. Like someone was targeting particular areas rather than fighting a planet-wide disease." The pieces of the puzzle were starting to form a disturbing picture. Korvik ordered the ship to maintain a safe distance while they gathered more information. "Commander," Mills called out, "Admiral Zixara is requesting permission to come aboard our vessel. She says she needs to discuss the situation privately and show us data that's too sensitive to transmit." Korvik exchanged glances with Rodriguez and Dr. Chun. Allowing an unknown alien aboard their ship was risky, but it might be the only way to learn the truth about what was happening in this system. Very well, Korvik decided. Standard first. Contact protocols. Full security detail, but keep it discreet. If they're really dying from a plague, the last thing they need is to feel threatened by the people trying to help them. As the crew prepared to receive their first Valkyrie visitor, none of them could imagine the terrible truth they were about to discover, or the moral choice that would soon test everything they believed about mercy, justice, and humanity's place. Among the stars, the answers they sought would change not only their mission, but their understanding of the darkness that could exist in seemingly civilized species across the galaxy. Asterisk, asterisk. The terrible truth Admiral Zixara was unlike any alien the crew of the Horizon's Edge had ever encountered. Standing nearly 8 feet tall, she possessed a sleek, reptilian appearance with silver-scaled skin that seemed to shimmer under the ship's lighting. Her eyes were large and golden, set in an angular face that conveyed intelligence and authority. She wore elaborate robes that suggested high rank and moved with the fluid grace of a predator. Commander Korvik met her in the main conference room, accompanied by Dr. Chun, Captain Rodriguez, and a discreet security detail positioned just outside the door. The atmospheric processors had been adjusted to accommodate Valkyrie physiology, though the aliens seemed comfortable breathing standard ship atmosphere. Commander Korvik, Zixara began, her voice carrying a melodic quality despite the translators. Mechanical interpretation. I cannot express how grateful we are for your response to our distress call. Few species would travel so far to help strangers. It's what we do, Korvik replied simply. Dr. Chun here is our lead xenobiologist. She be coordinating our medical assistance efforts. Dr. Chun stepped forward, her scanner discreetly recording biological data about their visitor. Admiral, can you tell us more about this plague? The information in your transmissions has some unusual characteristics. Zixara's golden eyes flickered briefly, a reaction so quick that only Rodriguez's trained eye caught it. The disease is complex. It affects different populations in different ways. Our scientists believe it may be targeting specific genetic markers. That's very unusual for a natural pathogen, Dr. Chun observed. Most diseases spread indiscriminately. Can you show us the medical data you mentioned? The Valkyrie Admiral produced a crystalline data device and placed it on the conference table. This contains everything we know about the plague's progression, its affected populations, and our failed attempts at treatment. As Dr. Chun interfaced the device with the ship's computer systems, Korvik studied their guest carefully. Something about her demeanor didn't match someone whose species was facing extinction. There was too much control, too much calculation in her manner. Admiral, Korvik said, we'd like to send a medical team to your planet's surface to assess the situation firsthand. Our scanners from orbit can only tell us so much. I'm afraid that's not possible, Commander, Zixara replied quickly. The atmospheric contamination makes surface operations extremely dangerous. Even our own people can only venture outside, in heavily sealed environments. Rodriguez leaned forward slightly. What about your orbital stations? We detected several large facilities in orbit around your world. Most have been evacuated, the Admiral said. We're using them as quarantine facilities for the few survivors we've managed to rescue. Dr. Chun looked up from her analysis, her face pale. Admiral, this data doesn't describe a plague at all. These are biological weapons effects. Highly sophisticated ones designed to target specific genetic sequences. The conference room fell silent. Zixara's golden eyes narrowed as she studied the human faces around the table. Doctor, you must be mistaken, she said carefully. Our own scientists have confirmed this is a natural disease outbreak. No, Dr. Chun said firmly, standing and activating the room's holographic display. Look at these molecular patterns. This pathogen was engineered, and according to your own data, it's only affecting what you call the lower castes of your society. Your ruling class appears to be completely immune. Korvik felt a cold realization wash over him. Admiral, what exactly is happening on your world? Zara stood slowly, her imposing height suddenly seeming more threatening than impressive. Commander, I had hoped you would be more cooperative. Your species' reputation for naive compassion preceded you. Answer the question, Rodriguez sighed, her hand moving instinctively toward her sidearm. Very well, Zixara said, her voice losing all pretense of desperation. Plague is a biological cleansing protocol. We are eliminating the inferior genetic lines from our population. It's a necessary step in our species' evolution. The words hit the humans like physical blows. Dr. Chun staggered backward, horror written across her face. Rodriguez's hand was now openly resting on her weapon. Korvik felt a rage building inside him that he hadn't experienced since the war against the hegemony pirates. You're committing genocide, Korvik said, his voice deadly quiet. We prefer the term genetic optimization, Zixara replied coldly. The lower castes were holding back our civilization's progress. Now our resources can be devoted to advancing our superior bloodlines. And the distress call? Rodriguez demanded. Bait, the Admiral said with what might have been pride. We've used this technique on 3 other species in this sector. You respond with your advanced technology. We study it, reverse engineer what we need, and then eliminate the witnesses. Your ship's medical and computational systems will be very useful for our expansion plans. Dr. Chun found her voice. The other species you mentioned? Gone, Zixara said simply. The Corvani were too trusting. The Helix Confederacy was too weak. The Stellar Republic put up more of a fight, but they fell eventually. You humans will join them soon enough. Korvik stood slowly, his blue eyes hard as ice. I don't think so. As if summoned by his tone, the ship's alert klaxons began wailing. Lieutenant Mill's voice crackled over the intercom. Commander, we have multiple bogies dropping out of hyperspace. 24 Valkyrie warships, all targeting our position. Zixara smiled, revealing sharp, predatory teeth. Did you really think we would let you leave with knowledge of our operations? Your ship is impressive for a primitive species, but you're outnumbered and outgunned. Rodriguez was already moving, her weapon drawn and pointed at the alien admiral. Security to Conference Room 1 now. Commander, came Mill's voice again, the Valkyrie fleet is demanding our surrender. They're giving us 60 seconds to comply. Korvik activated his wrist communicator. All hands, this is the commander. We are under attack by a hostile alien force that has committed genocide against multiple civilizations, battle stations. This is not a drill. The ship transformed around them as emergency lighting activated, and the crew rushed to combat positions. The Horizon's Edge might have been designed for exploration, but it was still an Earth Defense Coalition vessel, equipped with some of humanity's most advanced military technology. You cannot win, Zixara said confidently. Surrender now, and we'll make your deaths quick. Doctor, Korvik said to Dr. Chun, while keeping his eyes on the alien, get to the communication array. Transmit everything we've learned back to Earth. Command, make sure the galaxy knows what these creatures really are. Rodriguez, get us to the bridge. And Admiral, he turned to face Zixara directly, you're about to learn why humans don't respond well to threats against innocent people. As they moved toward the bridge, the ship shuddered under the first impacts of Valkyrie weapons fire. But the Horizon's Edge was built tough, and her shields held firm. On the bridge, the tactical display showed the full scope of the Valkyrie fleet. 24 warships, each one larger than the human vessel, arranged in a perfect attack formation. Tactical analysis, Korvik ordered as he took his command chair. Asterisk. Enemy ships are using plasma-based weapons and quantum shields, Rodriguez reported from her station. Their technology is advanced, but not beyond our capabilities. However, we're severely outnumbered. Weapons status? All systems online. Photon torpedoes loaded, plasma cannons charged, and our new experimental railguns are ready for testing. Dr. Chun looked up from the communications station. Commander, I've transmitted our findings to Earth Command. They'll know what really happened here. Good, Korvik said. Now let's make sure we survive to testify about it. The lead Valkyrie ship opened a communication channel. Admiral Zixara's voice filled the bridge. Humans, you have 30 seconds to surrender your vessel. Resist, and we will make your species' extinction as prolonged and painful as possible. Korvik looked around his bridge at the determined faces of his crew. These people had joined the Earth Defense Coalition to explore the stars and protect human interests. They hadn't expected to become humanity's last line of defense against genocidal aliens, but they were ready for the challenge. Lieutenant Mills, Korvik said calmly, open a channel to the Volcari fleet. Channel open, Commander. Admiral Zixara, this is Commander Korvik of the Earth Defense Coalition. You've made 3 critical errors in your calculations. And what would those be, human? First, you assumed we'd be as easy to defeat as your previous victims. Second, you underestimated human military technology. And third, Korvik's voice became as cold as interstellar space. You told us about the other species you murdered. That makes this personal. He looked at Rodriguez. Captain, you may fire when ready. What happened next would be remembered in military academies throughout human space for generations to come. The Horizon's Edge, though outnumbered 24-1, possessed something the Valkyrie had never encountered. Human ingenuity combined with righteous fury. The ship's experimental railguns fired first, accelerating tungsten projectiles to a significant fraction of light speed. The Valkyrie shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against kinetic projectiles traveling at such velocities. 3 enemy ships were destroyed in the opening salvo. Their shields are down, Rodriguez shouted, switching to photon torpedoes. The battle became a deadly dance of physics and strategy. The Valkyrie ships, designed for overwhelming weaker opponents, found themselves facing an enemy that refused to be intimidated. Human tactical doctrine, developed through decades of conflict with various hostile species, proved superior to Valkyrie military thinking. Rodriguez, execute pattern Delta 7, Korvik ordered. Use their formation against them. The Horizon's Edge dove toward the planet, using its gravity well to accelerate while firing continuously. The Valkyrie ships, trying to maintain their attack formation, collided with each other as they attempted to pursue. Direct hit on their command ship, Mills reported. Admiral Zixara's vessel is venting atmosphere. Good, Korvik said grimly. But we're not done yet. These murderers need to be stopped permanently. The battle raged for 47 minutes. When it was over, the wreckage of 24 Valkyrie warships drifted in orbit around their homeworld. The Horizon's Edge, battered but victorious, transmitted a final message to the planet below. To any Valkyrie listening, Korvik broadcast, your fleet has been destroyed. Your genocidal regime is finished. We've transmitted evidence of your crimes to every civilized species in the galaxy. Justice has been served. As the human ship prepared to depart, Dr. Chun made one final discovery. Commander, I'm detecting life signs on the planet's surface. Survivors from the lower castes, hiding in underground shelters. Prepare medical teams, Korvik ordered immediately. We came here to save lives. That mission isn't over yet. The rescue operation took 3 days. When the Horizon's Edge finally departed Valkyrie space, it carried 847 survivors of the genocide, aliens who would testify to the galaxy about their oppressors' crimes and humanity's intervention. Word of the battle spread quickly through interstellar space. 3 species that had vanished mysteriously were now known to be victims of Valkyrie deception and murder. The human response sent a clear message to any other would-be genocidal civilizations. Humanity would not tolerate the slaughter of innocents. Commander Korvik filed his report with a heavy heart. They had saved lives and stopped a genocidal regime, but the cost of learning about such evil weighed on his soul. However, he took comfort in knowing that humanity had once again proven that when faced with the choice between easy survival and difficult righteousness, humans would always choose to do what was right. The galaxy was safer because humans refused to let evil triumph, even when disguised as a plea for help.